presidential spokesperson Vincent Magwenya has said that it will be business as usual for the president tomorrow. Magwenya was briefing the media on a wide range of items on the president's agenda for the week ahead. Our reporter Katleho Sekhotho is at the Union Buildings now. Katleho, you were listening to the presidency give us the outline of the president's diary for this week. It looks like it's going to be business as usual for him tomorrow.
Absolutely, Clement. We are here at the Union Buildings where, as you say, we've just heard that briefing from the spokesperson of the presidency, Mr. Vincent Magwenya, really outlining President Cyril Ramaphosa's diary for the week, important developments taking place in regards to Eskom, dealing with the load shedding crisis, the energy crisis, and also a number of other things on the president's diary coming up this week, marking Human Rights Day, which will be commemorated on Tuesday, and the significance of that day as well. We know it's a public holiday then. Many schools will be closed as well on Monday, making it quite a long weekend for children at schools as well into the week. But also on the president's diary is the visit by the Belgium King's delegation to South Africa, and this is part of the strengthening of the bilateral relations between South Africa and Belgium. Also a lot of economic opportunity there in terms of the discussions that will be taking place there. But as you know, as we rightfully say, what's been dominating headlines in the past few hours, past few days, is the proposed national or nationwide shutdown by the EFF, and that was really top of the agenda as well in terms of the line of questioning coming from the media to the president's spokesperson. But I have with me Mr. Magwenya here to further elaborate on some of the things he did mention in the briefing. Mr. Magwenya, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time post the briefing. But, you know, we have seen that the headlines is this nationwide shutdown by the EFF. We have seen some members of the SANDF around the Union Building. What measures are really being locked down ahead of tomorrow?
Well, the law enforcement agencies have been directed by the President to ensure the safety of citizens that want to proceed and go on about their lives, whether it be work or any other form of recreational activity that they might take. What is important here is that there were threats that were made against businesses that will be open tomorrow. There were threats of looting that were made. Therefore, it is incumbent upon law enforcement agencies to ensure that those threats do not materialize, that those who enjoy the constitutional protection and right to protest do not infringe upon other citizens who want to proceed and go on with their lives without being party to that protest. We don't believe that anybody has a legal or any form of authority to shut down the country or to shut down the economy. I shared some examples of progress that we are making in terms of growing the economy. This is an economy that's opening up, not an economy that deserves to be shut down. It's not an economy that deserves to be subjected to any form of anarchy.
Right. And we see as we say, the Union Buildings, members of the SANDF around here. Will there be concerted efforts to protect the country's national key points from this hour on, or has it already been happening?
Well, national key points are always protected. They will continue being protected. Critical infrastructure will be protected. And more importantly, citizens are encouraged to go on about their day, and citizens are assured that law enforcement agencies will do their absolute best to ensure their safety.
Mm-hmm. There have been fears, Mr. Magwenya, around the repeat of the 2021 July unrest now with this proposed nationwide shutdown by the EFF. Have we learned lessons since then?
Indeed, there has been a number of lessons that have been learned. The Sandy Africa report, which the President commissioned at the back of the July unrest in 2021, has been implemented. It's still in the course of being implemented, and that's why you see this type of deployment that is being coordinated across various areas of law enforcement to ensure that we do not see the repeat of those sins. There is concern with respect to the threats that have been issued, and that concern is now quite visible in terms of the deployment that you've seen and that you'll continue to see over tomorrow to ensure that critical infrastructure is protected and to ensure that citizens are safe.
And just the last one, Mr. Magwenya, you did touch on it, the ICC issuing that warrant of arrest for Russian President Putin. What's South Africa's stance on this matter? I mean, we have been kind of sitting on the fence when it comes to the Russia-Ukraine war, but now with this warrant of arrest being issued, what do we say?
Well, we've not necessarily been sitting on the fence. We've been engaging all parties involved in the conflict. President Ramaphosa has had conversations with both President Putin as well as President Zelensky and has encouraged them to continue seeking a peaceful resolution to this conflict. It remains the President's belief as well as commitment that this conflict is resolved peacefully through negotiations. With respect to the warrant of arrest, we've noted the reports referencing the ICC's decision to issue a warrant of arrest against President Putin. As South Africa, we are very much cognizant of our legal obligation with respect to the Rome Statute. However, with regard to the upcoming BRICS summit, we will be engaging with relevant stakeholders as to how that summit proceeds. As things stand, no invitations have been issued to heads of state. The President has mentioned the fact that over and above your BRICS members, a number of other countries from the African continent and elsewhere will be invited to be part of the summit and the proceedings around the summit. And so at this stage, we cannot speculate around scenarios that may not necessarily arise, except to say we are aware of what our legal obligations are, and we will be engaging with all relevant parties.
Thank you very much for that, Mr. Magwenya. Thank you. Clement, as you heard there from the President's spokesperson, Mr. Vincent Magwenya, giving us a roundup of some of the stuff he had elaborated on there at the platform or at the podium, really outlining that security has been tightened ahead of the EFF nationwide shutdown, as well as the South African views around the issuing of a warrant of arrest by the ICC of Russian President Putin. But really, I mean, as we mentioned, that nationwide shutdown, the state saying, you know what, we can say, we do know that in the Constitution people have a right to protest, but it needs to be within the confines of the law. So people cannot be anarchist to others. People need to be allowed to go about their day, and no one should be prevented from running businesses, opening shop. So that's the sentiments expressed by the presidency.
Katleho Sekhotho, live to us from the Union Buildings. Thank you.